Hey guys, welcome to First Studies YouTube channel. Let's understand about code spaces in GitHub in this beginner friendly video. I was exploring code spaces, what it is and how to consume it. So I thought why not I can create a video on the same topic which can be benefit to the subscribers too. So imagine you are working on a Python development project or maybe .NET or anything. So ideally you end up with creating so many files. You end up with installing a lot of dependent libraries, packages, etc. And when somebody else also want to contribute to your project, you have to give this whole code to them and they either via GitHub or maybe from your local and they have to set up their mission basically to make sure their mission also compatible to execute your code. They might also need to install the dependencies, packages, everything. When you see this in real time, right? When in real time, when engineers were working on a complicated applications, if some new member joins to the team, for them to set up this whole computer itself will take a few days to come to up to the speed where their device is good enough to work with the existing code, and then on top of it, they will start contributing it. So this is whole tedious job or the time consuming job, right? So, but if you do have a code spaces for your project, then within seconds or within minutes, the new member who joined your team can start working on your code and they can be come into the productivity immediately. So that is the magic or that is the power of code spaces. If all that not making sense, I will quickly explain you that also. So imagine code spaces are nothing but like a ready-made computer, a ready-made device which is available in the code, and that device will have all your tools, dependencies, project setup, everything already installed. And this device, you don't need to do any kind of a setup. You can directly hit and access it, and you can start your development there. Imagine that way. So it's an instant development environment, which comes from that GitHub automatically, and you can directly start using it, and your code will start run without any errors there, and you can start doing your development and productivity. So the developer use why the developers use it basically it provides an instant setup. You don't need to do any setup. Basically, within a seconds, your code space or the ready-made computer is ready with all the code and dependencies in it. And consistent environments, no more works on my mission. That means there is no more a confusion or a issue or the hustle about a statement called okay, it is working on my mission, not working on some other mission. There is no more confusion or hustle during behind that issue. Okay, so everything is very consistent because everything is on a on a cloud and it is a very super fast. So if you have a code space for your code for the development purpose, then actually there is no dependency on any device. People can log in anywhere with if they have a internet, they can start contributing it directly because the ready-made cloud machine is available for them to do their code. And that's what I said, work from anywhere and multiple environments. Basically, you can work on a different projects and branches parallelly also in a code spaces. Okay, so this code spaces basically how it works is basically these code spaces powered by Azure from the backend, and Azure helps you to get that whole compute and the infrastructure at a backend. And there will be a dev containers, and using the dev containers, that whole cloud computer or the dev workspace what you get it will get configured or will get installed with all the dependencies and all. Okay, and this cloud space code spaces can be accessed via browser, via desktop, both. Okay, but one thing to remember is these code spaces are not free. They are money consumed. Starting when you go with a free trial, you will get for a few hours, maybe 60 hours. You can use it for a free, but not beyond that. It will include a slight amount of money there, like how Azure also takes some money from you. Similarly, code spaces also will are chargeable, but it is very minimum charge, not much. And whenever you are doing a development, that is fine. When you are not doing in development, you can pause it. That way, your charges will be very less, but slight charges will be still there. Okay. So I will not go deeply about these code spaces. I will be, it's like a beginner friendly video. I will quickly create one code space, develop something there and show it to you guys and how to delete that code space, pass that code space. That's how this video will go. And I feel that is enough for anybody to get started. And once they get started, they can explore more also if they wanted to know anything more there. So with that, now what I will be doing it is I will be going to my browser. Okay. So if you go to GitHub Codespaces, if you search in Google GitHub Codespaces, you will come to this page where it explains about everything like secure development made easy, and it is secured by design, and it helps to collaborate also. So basically it shows all the UI images along with the features available in Codespaces. If you want to quickly go through them, you can go through them, or go to github.com and sign in with your account. When once you sign in, right, you will see at the top there will be a plus symbol. So from there you can basically create a code space. So I'm hitting new code space to create a new code space, and when I do that, it will basically tells me that from any existing repository or a branch or a region, you can basically create a code space or the working dev setup from existing repository. That means the code what we have in that repository, it will directly come to your code space and you can start developing it. So you can select your repositories from here. But I will not do that. So maybe I will create a blank code space first, and I will try to write my code there, and then I will store that code into some repository also if I want. Okay. So let me show that path. So click this code spaces here to come back to a home dashboard of the code spaces. And here you can see you can create a code space from the blank, that means nothing, or maybe for the React project setup or Jupyter setup or .NET setup. When you hit see all, there are other different kind of a technology specific code spaces. You can create it. That means if I select this, use this template for the .NET, that means a code space, a development environment will get created for me, which is configured for .NET directly. I don't need to do anything, but I will go with a blank. So let me hit this, use this. And when I do that, if you see, it is opening a new browser, and see it directly open a Visual Studio Code. So code spaces by defaultly open the Visual Studio Code editor. Behind this editor, there will be a small compute machine and everything will be there. So just assume that way. So it has everything at a backend we cannot see, and all the infrastructure from the backend is powered by Azure. So now let me close this welcome screen here. You see, I got a GitHub Copilot also this side, and I got a Explorer here, extensions and everything. Whatever I do, the deployments here, the dependency installation here, it will be there in that URL. And whenever I navigate to that URL, I can access them without any rework of resetting of the things. So here in this project, let me create a new Python file maybe. So I will be name it text.py. So I created a text.py Python file, and maybe I will write a simple code here, print, and I will say hello world. So basically a very control S to save this file, a very basic code to run a Python code and show you. So in the terminal, I am typing Python space hyphen hyphen version to see if Python is there. And you can see from the output that Python is available in the system. Okay, so we are good there. So now what I am going to do, so I will run that. So Python space test.py, that is a file name, right? So when I run it, and if you observe the output, you see it is printing hello world. That means I'm able to run my project. So I created a simple Python script project called hello world. It can be a complex Python project too. Maybe let's not only that, maybe let's assume I want to create a web application, web API, anything you can do that. I will show a web API example. So let me create another Python file called main.py. Okay. So I'm going to consume the fast API to create the APIs in the Python. So I need a fast API package in the local. So I can do pip install fast API. So if I do that, it will install the fast API for me. And what you have to understand is this will be very fast comparing to your local, because this dev box infrastructure from the back end was powered by Azure with a very high internet speed. So it will be very fast. So fast API install. So I can do the clear here to clear that console. Then what I can do is, let me make it here. So I can write from fast API import fast API. So I imported a fast API. Then I'm creating an object for the fast API. Okay, fast API class. Then on that object, I am using a get. So basically, I am creating a API for the get request, which is accessible via the root URL. So I'm creating a function here called maybe hello world is the function name. Hello world is the function name. And inside this function, basically, I will simply return a JSON or a dictionary, maybe message hello world. Okay. So control S. So if I run this project, it basically get host as an API, and I can hit the URL to access the API and see if the API is working or not. So I created a very basic Hello World API. So to run the API, always you need UVCon. So I will execute pip install UVCon. So if you don't know what is UVCon, in my channel there is a video about a UVCon. You can watch it. UVCon video in first edit. If you search like that, it will get it. So it is basically a host where you can host a web application in a Python or maybe a API which you developed using a fast API. And now I install the UVCon also successfully. So let me clear this console and I will say now UVCon space. What is the file name? Main is the file name. In the main file name, you have a app as an object for the API. So I will be running it. So when I run that, my whole code, okay, so there is something wrong. Let me check what is wrong here. Okay, so what happened is here, okay, so the import statement was wrong. So it is fast API. Okay, that is what I have to import. Let me save these changes. Let me clear. Now if I run UVCon main colon app, now you can see my app is running at this URL and it also tells me that do you want to open this URL in a browser and test it. So if I use open this URL, automatically this get request get invoked and this should be the output. So I can do that. So maybe I can hit that link to follow that link. It will open in a browser. And if when I go to the root URL, you see the output message hello world. So this tab has the API call for the testing and this tab has the code space. So there is a magic, right? So now if somebody else wants to work on it, so they can collaborate on the same code space or they can create their own code space from the repository without doing any setup. Then it will all come automatically. This is a very basic Hello World program, so you might feel that it is not much complicated to set up in a new machine. But imagine when you are working on a big projects where so much things has to be set up before the code will run in your system, then it will take a lot of time for you guys. So now what I will do, I'm going back to my GitHub and I will try to go back to my Codespaces dashboard. And you see this glowing umbrella, that is the Codespace what I got created just now. And when I open this Codespace, it will again take to the same Codespace where I have the Hello World programs for the API and the test.pfl. You see that it is loading and if you give few minutes, it will come up here. You see that all is all is up and running here, right? So see one more thing, whenever you are running the API, if you want to stop, hit Control C, that will shut down or stop that particular API service. So going back to these code spaces, if you want to rename this, so you can hit these three dots. Okay, if you are not able to see that on the UI because of my video, so let me keep it here. So on the code spaces, right? If you can hit these three dots and select this rename. And when I do that, so you can rename from the glowing umbrella to maybe sample code space. So I can rename that way and I can hit save, that save my code space name. That is one thing to observe. And second thing is you see that your code space is in an active state here. That means it is chargeable. So even though you are working on a code or not, the compute at a backend is active, so it charges more. So when you are not running, you can hit the three dots and select this uh, pause somewhere it should be rename stop code space. So when you do that, right, this code space will get stopped here, and you see that now it won't charge you much because you are not consuming the compute. Okay, when you make it active, that's where the more charges will come. Not only that, maybe whatever the code you have written, you wanted to publish into one repository because I have created a blank code space and I started writing files there, but those files are not in my GitHub repo anywhere. So you can hit this publish to new repo, and when you do that, it will ask you to give the name to the repo here. So you can enter some name to the repo and select public or private, and then you can simply hit this create repository button. So that way it will create a repository for you automatically. I'm not creating it, but you can do that. Okay, so that is very well possible. And let me close this window, whatever it came here, and then now we can also like when you are not using code spaces, if you feel it is not useful, then always hit these three and click this delete button to delete the code space. Otherwise, even though your code space is in a stop position, but still it will have some charges around it. So always delete it. That way you will not you will save your money basically. So let me hit this delete and delete. So this deletes my code space actually. Okay. So now my code space might have got deleted. You can see there is no code space. Okay. So that's it about a code spaces. I hope you guys understand how to create a code space. And you can create a code space from the existing repository too. If that is very much possible. So you can go to any repo. For example, I will go to some repo and maybe you can simply go to open open GitHub desktop code spaces and create a code space on this file and start using it. You can do that very well. Okay, so that is all possible. So either from the repository, you can open a code space that takes all your project and keep up and running there, or create a blank code space and create your project from there from the scratch and save them back as a repository. That is also possible. So I hope, and the main advantage is there is no hustle or the load on you to set up your computer, or there is no dependency on your device, and everything will be running on a cloud for you. Okay. So that's it in this video. I hope you find this code spaces video helpful for as a quick get started video to get start and work with the code spaces. Thank you for watching. Happy learning, guys. Have a nice day.